Hello, Namaskar, Vanakkam. I hope all of you are doing absolutely great. What we are going to do today in आज का वीडियो is going to be Grassroots Democracy Part 2, जिसमें हम ये जानेंगे कि what kind of governance, what kind of grassroots democracy takes place in the rural areas. And in the next part, we will talk about what happens in the urban areas. यानी कि किस तरह का गवर्नेंस का स्ट्रक्चर है, कौन जो डेली नीड्स, रिक्वायरमेंट्स, प्रॉब्लम्स, इश्यूज को रूरल एरियाज में कौन सी एजेंसी सॉल्व करती है. Similarly, which agency takes care of problems in the urban areas, in the cities and towns of India? So it's going to be fascinating because you'll be able to relate to it very well. And I am sure I'll be able to make it very interesting for you. So use the hashtag social science with Sudhir sir for any doubts and you will get all the videos. In any case, मैंने playlist वगैरह का link आपके डिस्क्रिप्शन बॉक्स में डाल दिया है. ओके, सो एवरीथिंग इज देयर फॉर मैथमेटिक्स, इंग्लिश, सोशल साइंस, हिंदी एंड साइंस फॉर सीबीएसई क्लास 6. ओके, सो लेट्स गेट स्टार्टेड. So let's get started with the chapter itself, local government in rural areas. I'll keep shifting between the textbook and the few notes kind of thing, presentation slides that I have prepared to make it interesting for all you students. So let's move forward. Now, when you say local government in rural areas, इसका मतलब क्या है? इसका मतलब ये है कि हर गांव में, in every village, I'll keep shifting between Hindi and English, please bear with me. हर गांव में, I'll say it in English, I'll say it in Hindi. Okay, in every village, there is something called a panchayat which is elected. Okay, panchayat. Panch means 5. So usually what happens is that in every village, 5 representatives, of which the main person is the sarpanch. Sarpanch is the head man kind of a thing. You know, Panch ka among the 5 people, he's the senior most, so he's known as the Sar of the Panch. That is the head of the Panchayat. Okay, I hope I'm making it clear. So Panchayat is 5 people who represent the problems and they conduct the meetings in order to kind of talk about, okay, there is a drinking water problem because the lake near our village has dried up in the summer. So what is it that we need to do in order to solve the problem of drinking water? Some villager may say, let's represent to the government saying that we need to send a tanker to this village, let's say once every 2 days or once every 3 days, depending on the population of the village. So that's how the discussion takes place. So if you see this photograph, not an absolutely correct photograph in terms of numbers, you see the rural banana plantation, etc. Here, all these people are sitting at a meeting of the village. There are these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the main people. There are some more people. So ideally, it should be 5 people who are the panchayat, who are the people elected by these people. They have been elected in an election. चुनाव हुआ है, चुनाव में ये सब चुनकर आए हैं इस गांव की प्रॉब्लम्स को सुलझाने के लिए. समझ में आ गया? सो ये होता है लोकल सरकार कि गांव में किस तरह की सरकार है. अगर यहां पर पानी के प्रॉब्लम की किल्लत हो, प्रॉब्लम हो पानी की या बिजली की, ओके, तो यार सड़क नहीं बनी है, ऐसा नहीं है कि सीधा नरेंद्र मोदी को लिखेंगे कि मोदी जी हमारे गांव में सड़क नहीं है, सड़क आके बनाइए. मोदी जी हैज अदर प्रॉब्लम्स टू लुक आफ्टर. रशिया यूक्रेन वॉर, relations with USA, relations with Pakistan, relation with China and other domestic issues, economy, etc. So sadak in this village is the primary responsibility of the local government in that particular village. समझ में आ गया? Great. Let's go. Now, what did Mahatma Gandhi say about villages? He said the real India lives in its villages. This was said by Mahatma Gandhi. And you can see Mahatma Gandhi's photographs inside a village, in a village. This is one photograph. This is another photograph where you can see him walking on that narrow strip of land on a field, right? So you can see Mahatma Gandhi, the 4th person in the picture, walking there. So he said the real India lives in its villages. Okay, so it's an important quote. The idea behind using this photograph is always to make it a little more interesting. Otherwise, textbooks are generally more boring. Okay, now next में जाने से पहले let's go back to the textbook. So now let us see how the government functions at the local level. In this chapter, our focus will be on local government in the rural areas. We've already seen the broad picture in the previous chapter. पिछले चैप्टर में हमने ब्रॉड पिक्चर देख लिया है. अब इस वाले चैप्टर में, 10वें चैप्टर में, ये 11वां चैप्टर है, इसमें हम देखेंगे कि एक्चुअल में, ग्राउंड में, गांव में किस तरह से सरकार चलती है. ओके, सो इंडिया इज अ कंट्री ऑफ एनॉर्मस साइज एंड डाइवर्सिटी की विशाल देश है. इट्स अ बिग कंट्री. वी हैव समथिंग लाइक 6 लाख villages. 6 लाख गांव हैं, which is why महात्मा गांधी said the real India lives in its villages. 6 लाख गांव हैं आज की तारीख में. 8,000 शहर, यानी कि बड़े शहर नहीं, छोटे शहर, टाउन्स, एंड ओवर 4,000 सिटीज, 4,000 सिटीज. ये आपको स्टेटिस्टिक्स याद रखने चाहिए. 6 लाख, 8,000 और 4,000. हमारी पॉपुलेशन इतनी है. ओके, 140 करोड़, 1.4 बिलियन, ऑलमोस्ट 2/3 which live in rural area. इसमें से 2/3, that is 66% people live in the villages, and the rest, about 34%, live in the, actually it's not 34%, it's about 31% according to the last official census. उसके बारे में भी मैं बताऊंगा. Okay, how do we govern ourselves in this complex society? So let's take it now. कहानी बता रही जा रही है कि हम एक लक्ष्मणपुर नामक एक गांव में जाते हैं. वी गो टू अ विलेज कॉल्ड लक्ष्मणपुर, which is a small village in the foothills of the mighty Himalayas. It has 200 houses and a population of about 700 people, most of whom are farmers. So agriculture is the main occupation in this particular place. So you can see the Himalayas are there, the ice-capped mountains, the Himalayas. You have these houses which are scattered all over the place. There is this house here, and it is kind of scattered all over the place, and you can see cattle, etc. Okay, the cows, etc. They're all being reared. Okay, so people cultivate their lands and rear cows or goats. समझ में आ गया? बकरी, गाय, cattle rearing वगैरह करते हैं. Some have relatives serving in the armed forces. कि सेना में भी कुछ लोग उनके रिश्तेदार हैं who are serving in the armed forces. A few younger villages have migrated to the city in search of jobs. The younger people have gone to the nearby city or any other faraway city, maybe to Mumbai, maybe to Delhi, in order to work there so that you can make more money, because in a village, the possibility of making enough money from agriculture is a little less. So people obviously, for those reasons, migrate in search of jobs. What are the needs of these villages? यानी कि इस गांव की जरूरतें क्या होंगी, इस गांव की जरूरतें क्या होंगी, और उसके अगर आपको जरूरतें नहीं मालूम होगी तब आप वहां के प्रॉब्लम्स को किस तरह से सुलझाएगा. ओके, सो यू नीड टू नो द प्रॉब्लम्स ऑफ द विलेज इन ऑर्डर टू बी एबल टू सॉल्व द इश्यूज ऑफ द विलेज. वाटर फॉर द फील्ड्स, repairing the main road, what I just now told you about, which got damaged by heavy rains, or maintaining the school at the village, in the village. How will the villagers take decisions about these matters? Where will they get the resources? Resources मतलब पैसा कहाँ आएगा? अगर स्कूल के लिए नए क्लासरूम, 2 नए क्लासरूम बनाने हैं, to buy bricks, to buy cement, to buy sand, to whitewash the place, to buy desk, blackboard, everything, you need money. Who is going to give money? The villagers are not going to have so much money that they can spend on the school. And school is a government responsibility if it is a government school. So the government has to come and pay for that, building those 2 new classrooms. So if that has to be done, these people will have to represent to the local administration of the government, which could be the district collector, to say that our village needs 2 new classrooms at the primary school. तो इसी तरह से डिसीजंस लिए जाते हैं. गांव में पंचायत बैठती है, देन वो पूरे गांव के लोगों से डिस्कशन करते हैं. उसके बाद a representation is sent to the district collector, who is an IAS officer, to say that please allot funds so that 2 new classrooms can be built for the primary school. Okay. What will happen if there is a dispute over land, or if some crop is stolen? You suddenly find that you are very close to the hills, that कोई भालू या कोई शेर या कोई leopard comes and kills the cows in your village or kills the goats in your village. So there is a problem. So what will you do? You will sit, you will discuss, and you will represent, you will give a petition, you will call the local forest officers, the local forest department people. You come, you lay a trap so that you can capture the tiger or the leopard or the bear, right? जो भी ऑफेंडिंग एनिमल है उसको पकड़ो, जो भी प्रेडेटर है उसको पकड़ के वापस जंगल में छोड़ दो, ताकि हमारी जो दिक्कत है, द प्रॉब्लम दैट वी आर फेसिंग बिकॉज ऑफ दिस टाइगर which could become a man eater also, that is solved. So this is how problems are solved. So the interaction between the government and the village is done through this representatives, which are the panchayat. I hope with these examples I'm making it abundantly clear to you. Okay, now तो इसीलिए क्या होता है, देयर इज समथिंग कॉल्ड अ पंचायती राज सिस्टम. ये 1950 से चल रहा है पंचायतों का. हालांकि जो पंचायती राज का जो लेजिस्लेशन वगैरह था वो 80s में और रोबस्ट फॉर्म में आया था व्हेन राजीव गांधी वाज प्राइम मिनिस्टर. ओके, सो लक्ष्मणपुर पीपल हैव अ सिस्टम ऑफ लोकल गवर्नमेंट. लोकल का मतलब स्थानीय सरकार, कॉल्ड पंचायत, विच रेफर्स टू अ विलेज काउंसिल, यानी कि गांव की बैठक, गांव का काउंसिल. Panchayats bring governance closer to the people. Obvious है ना, पंचायत, because obviously you're not going to meet the prime minister or the chief minister of that state. You are going to have the sarpanch and his panchayat members solving your problem. कि मेरे घर के सामने मेरा पड़ोसी रोज कचरा फेंक के जाता है, सुनता नहीं है, हमारा झगड़ा हो चुका है, पंचायत के लोगों प्लीज सॉल्व दिस प्रॉब्लम. सो द पंचायत विल कॉल मी, panchayat will call my neighbor and tell him, why are you dropping all your garbage in front of my house? Please don't do that. So it will solve problem. अगर वो पड़ोसी फिर भी कचरा मेरे घर के सामने डालता है, then the panchayat will have the powers कि उसको फाइन करे कि तुम ऐसा नहीं कर सकते. समझ में आ गई? सो लोकल जो भी इसी तरह की जो क्लैशेस हैं, डिस्प्यूट्स हैं, डिसएग्रीमेंट्स है, उन सबको सॉल्व करने का जिम्मा पंचायत का है. समझ में आ गया तो ताली बजाओ. नाउ that is why the panchayat, so it becomes possible for the villages also to take part in the decision making process. कि हमारे गांव की दिक्कत है, it is a problem which our village is facing, that we have a problem where the road is not in good condition, so we need to get the road repaired. So let's all go and ensure that this problem is solved. So you take part in the decision making process of the village in general. So that is called Panchayati Raj, which is a form of self-government. Why is it called self-government? Because I, as a member of that village, as a villager, I am a part of the decision-making process of the problems, concerning the problems of the village. So I am kind of, it's like self-rule, that I am, मेरी आवाज भी सुनाई दे रही है कि अगर मैं एक ऐसी सलाह दूं जिससे कि ये प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व हो जाए. लाइक फॉर एग्जांपल, I'll give you a lot of examples because I've done this for many years in terms of covering politics. I'll give you an example. For example, Andhra Pradesh mein, when Chandrababu Naidu was chief minister of United Andhra Pradesh, abhi he's still chief minister of the new state of Andhra Pradesh, he had a program called Janmabhoomi. Janmabhoomi program ka matlab kya tha? His thing was, you have come from a village, but then you have moved to the cities, you have done very well for yourself, maybe you are living in the USA and you are running a company, you are in the top position of a company, you are an extremely rich person. Wouldn't you want to, that is your karma bhumi, but wouldn't you want to do something for your janma bhumi, the place, the land, the bhumi that gave you your janm, यानी कि जिस भूमि पर आपका जन्म हुआ, तो अभी जब आपके पास पैसा है तो wouldn't you like to do something for your जन्मभूमि? तो यहां से प्रोग्राम का नाम हुआ जन्मभूमि प्रोग्राम. तो उसमें क्या हुआ कि that person will come down and say that, oh, this is the village where I was born. I spent my first 12 years, first 15 years in this particular village. I went to this village primary school. This is where I studied till class 10, and then I went to the city in order to study further, and then I subsequently went to the USA and have done well for myself. So I want to do something for the small children of this particular village. So what can I do? Okay, from my side, the government may not have funds. Let's forget about the government. That was option one, that you go to the district collector and ask for funds. But chodo, no problem. I have enough money, so I will sponsor the construction of a wall around the school, because वो पुरानी दीवार गिर गई है, एक अच्छा सा गेट बनाऊंगा, and I will sponsor the construction of 5 new classrooms. Example. So मैं दूंगा, so that is come under the Janmabhoomi program, that I am giving something back to my village. So इस तरह के programs भी किए जाते हैं. Okay. So this is all part of self-government, and Panchayati Raj will decide, will tell the person, oh, he may come down and say, what are the problems? Oh, classrooms chahiye. Or we can say, we need new borewells to be dug. So borewells can be dug. It could be like, we are having a problem with the bad road. Bus nahi aa rahi hai. So he will say, oh, bus ka problem hai. Okay, let me do one thing. I will sponsor a tempo which can carry, let's say, 12 people at a time, okay, between the village and the bus stop in town, which is a distance of, let's say, 5 kilometers. Okay, तो गांव से लेके टाउन तक जाने के लिए एक टेम्पो का मैं इंतजाम करता हूं, ताकि वो आने जाने का हो जाएगा, आपको कोई दिक्कत नहीं होगी, उसका जितना भी भाड़ा होगा, ड्राइवर का सैलरी, पेट्रोल का कॉस्ट, एवरीथिंग विल बी अंडरटेकन बाय मी. This is how problems get solved. This is what Panchayat can do. This is what self-government ka models are. I'm giving you lots of examples so that you get the clarity and you also feel interested in what we are reading. Panchayats play a vital role in addressing local issues like what I just now explained, promoting development and ensuring that the benefits of government schemes reach the grassroots level. Like for example, government की कई सारी schemes होती हैं. For example, 10 साल के छोटे उम्र की कोई भी बच्ची हो, girl child, you can put an X amount of money in the local post office, okay, for which you get a certain higher rate of interest. It's called Sukanya Samruddhi something it's called. Okay, so below 10 years of age, if your girl child is, let's say, 3 years of age, you can put the money and it will be accrued till she reaches age 10, and then the entire amount with interest will be available to her when she turns 18. Okay, that's one of the schemes. So the postal department can come and tell the villages that we have this scheme. So if anyone wants to put your money in the post office under this scheme, you can do. So these are all government schemes. The benefits of government schemes reach the grassroots level. So that's how government work gets done. Samajh mein aa gaya? Now, this happens at 3 different levels. Village level, what I just now spoke about, that's where it is called the village parishad or the gram panchayat. पंचायत इज अ नॉर्मल वर्ड यूज्ड. उसके ऊपर का लेवल, ये तो एक गांव हुआ. वी कैन से, लेट्स से 20 villages together. I'm just giving a random example. It could be 25 in some states, it could be 30 in some states. That will become what is called a block. Block भी बोलते हैं, कुछ states में मंडल भी बोलते हैं. So it may be called the block panchayat or the panchayat samiti or the mandal parishad. जैसे तेलंगाना में it is called the mandal parishad. So different states have different nomenclature. So यहाँ पर मंडल परिषद बोल सकते हैं ब्लॉक लेवल पे. अभी many blocks को मिलाकर it is called at the district level, जहां पर district collector will be the IAS officer in charge of the entire district as the representative of the state government. But there it will be called the Zilla Parishad. As I said, in Telangana it is called Zilla Parishad. In some states it can be called the district panchayat. But Zilla Parishad, Mandal Parishad, Gram Panchayat, these are the more common names used in most of the states. Okay, so these are the 3 levels. So under the district, you will have all the villages which are there in that particular district. For example, there is a district, let's say Nalgonda district in Telangana. So in Nalgonda district में इतने सारे villages होंगे, they will all be formed part of the Zilla Parishad. So there will be a Zilla Parishad chief. Zilla Parishad chief के under there will be, let's say, 10 Mandal Parishad chief. Mandal Parishad chief के under there will be all the villages which will have a Sarpanch and a Panchayat committee. Okay, so that's how it works. Now, as is clear from the diagram, the Panchayati Raj system works at 3 levels from bottom up: the village, the block, and the district. This is called a 3-tier system. जैसे AC 3-tier में होता है ना ट्रेन में, lower berth, middle berth, upper berth. तो lower berth is the village, middle berth is the mandal or the block, and the upper berth is the Zilla Parishad at the district level. I hope ये clear है. Okay, lower, middle, and upper berth. So it's called a 3-tier system. Together, these institutions' responsibilities cover all the aspects of life in the district, from agriculture, housing, maintenance of roads, management of water resources. Because गांव में इसी तरह की प्रॉब्लम होती है, पढ़ाई को लेकर, रोड को लेकर, पानी को लेकर, कृषि को लेकर. फर्टिलाइजर्स अवेलेबल नहीं है, we need to sprinkle fertilizers, pesticides are not available, right? So those are the kind of issues that people in the village face, largely related to agriculture, irrigation, education, roads, housing, etc. Okay, healthcare, we need a primary healthcare center in our village because the hospital is 20 kilometers away. It becomes very difficult, especially tribal areas में, ट्राइबल एरिया से, आदिवासी हैमलेट से पास वाले शहर में पहुंचने के लिए काफी देर लगती है. सो विमेन व्हेन दे आर अबाउट टू डिलीवर चिल्ड्रन दे फाइंड इट वेरी डिफिकल्ट, एंड सोशल वेलफेयर टू कल्चरल एक्टिविटी. तो ये सभी इश्यूज को कवर किया जाता है. इज इट क्लियर टिल हियर? चलो आगे चलते हैं. लेट्स बिगिन विद द बेस ऑफ figure 11.1 on page 164, the gram panchayat, which is closest. Members, it's the members of the panchayat are elected directly by the gram sabha. तो जब पूरा गांव बैठता है, जैसे मैंने इसमें दिखाया था आपको, ये जो पूरी बैठक हो रही है इसको ग्राम सभा कहेंगे. ग्राम सभा elects the members of the panchayat. Okay, which is a group of adults from a village or a group of neighboring villages which are enrolled as voters. यानी कि 18 साल के ऊपर की उम्र के हो तो आप वोट भी कर सकते हैं. In the Gram Sabha, women and men discuss all matters related to their area and take decisions. मिल बैठ के डिसीजन पे लेते हैं, but the final powers are with the पंचायत. अगर कुछ लोग ये कह रहे हैं, कुछ लोग ये कह रहे हैं, तो फाइनली दे डिसाइड कि क्या करना चाहिए. कि हमारे पास सिर्फ 20,000 रुपए हैं तो हम काम ये वाला काम करें या ये वाला काम करें, इनमें से कौन सी ज्यादा प्रायोरिटी है, जिसकी जरूरत ज्यादा है, which is having more priority, and therefore we decide which one we want to do. Each ग्राम पंचायत elects a head or president called the सरपंच, जो मैंने आपको शुरू में बताया. सरपंच या प्रधान, कुछ जगहों पर जैसे यूपी वगैरह में प्रधान भी बोलते हैं, साउथ इंडिया वगैरह में सरपंच बोलने का ज्यादा चलन है. ओके, in recent years more and more women have become sarpanches. In fact, there is 33% reservation. 33% of your sarpanches have to be women. Okay, so that you get more women. Of course, इसका the flip side is क्या होता है, अगर the male of the family is the political head, वो क्या करेगा, अपनी वाइफ को नॉमिनेट कर देगा, लेकिन असली काम पूरा पावर वगैरह जो भी डिसीजन है it still is controlled by the male person, right? Which is not the way it should ideally be. So the idea was to empower more women to take part in decision making, लेकिन कई जगहों पर इस तरह का भी हो रहा है, which is a bit of a negative. Okay, so here you are seeing 5 people who are the panchayat. Okay, and he is obviously the sarpanch, and this is the gram sabha taking place. Okay, now we will read about 3 people who have done some very good work. Now this particular person is Dhyaneshwar Kamble. She is a transgender person who was elected sarpanch of Taranwal village in the Sholapur district of Maharashtra in 2017. I remember going to Sholapur almost 15 years back. Okay, Kamble's motto is Lok Seva, Gram Seva, and service to the village and service to the people. So she does service to the people. She's from Sholapur district, so she's one of the sarpanches who has been, and she's a transgender. Kamble defeated 6 other candidates to become the sarpanch. So proper चुनाव में चुनकर आई थी. Vandana Bahadur Maida, a member of the Bhil community from the village of Khandvi in Madhya Pradesh, defied patriarchal norms. Defied मतलब कि उन्होंने उसका सामना किया. पेट्रियार्कल की सिर्फ आदमी लोग ही इलेक्ट होके आ सकते हैं. उसने कहा कि मैं चुनाव लड़ूंगी, एंड शी डिफाइड मतलब उसका सामना किया, उसको उसके अगेंस्ट खड़ी हुई, टू बिकम द फर्स्ट फीमेल सरपंच ऑफ हर विलेज. अपने गांव की पहली महिला सरपंच चुनकर आई. She convinced women in the village to attend the sabha meetings and address critical issues like education and sanitation. कि साफ सफाई हो और शिक्षा पर जोर दिया जाए. Earning recognition far and wide, Vandana's journey shows how women can play a leading role in transforming rural India. तो इस तरह के इंस्पायरिंग स्टोरीज भी हैं. कई जगहों पर ये सरपंच अपनी वाइफ को खड़ा करके अब खुद ही सब कुछ कंट्रोल करता है. इनफैक्ट पंचायत नाम का एक वेब सीरीज भी है. आई थिंक इट्स ऑन Amazon Prime. ओके, इन विच वो ही होता है कि सरपंच है, उसको प्रधान बोलते हैं वहां पर. यूपी में उसको शूट किया गया है. आई मीन यूपी में बेस्ड है, हालांकि शूटिंग ज्यादातर मध्य प्रदेश में हुई थी, हालांकि इट इज बेस्ड इन यूपी. और हिज वाइफ इज द सर प्रधान, बट ही इज द वन हु इज कॉल्ड द प्रधान, एंड ही काइंड ऑफ takes all the decisions. In fact, he sits in the office, etc. This is the third person called Hiware Bazar. Hiware Bazar, a village in Ahmednagar district of Maharashtra, used to be affected by frequent drought. So this person, Popat Rao Baguji Pawar, became the Sarpanch. He started applying Anna Hazare's movement of हार्वेस्टिंग वाटर, रेन वाटर हार्वेस्टिंग, वाटरशेड कंजर्वेशन, यानी कि इस तरह के छोटे छोटे चेक डैम्स बना दिए जाएं. मेरे गांव में भी है, पालक्काड इन केरला में, देयर इज दिस काइंड ऑफ अ मिनी डैम व्हिच बिकॉज बड़े बड़े डैम कंस्ट्रक्ट करने में पैसा ज्यादा लगता है, देयर इज एनवायरमेंटल कॉस्ट. लेकिन अगर आप इस तरह के चेक डैम्स बना सकेंगे तो यहां का जो पानी है ऐसा नहीं है कि फ्लो करके सीधा वेस्ट हो जाएगा, नहीं, यहां पर आप उसको स्टोर कर सकते हैं और जब जरूरत होगी तब आप उसको रिलीज कर सकते हैं, ताकि समर के महीनों में, सो दैट इन द मंथ्स ऑफ समर द विलेज डज नॉट फेस अ शॉर्टेज ऑफ वाटर फॉर ड्रिंकिंग, फॉर वॉशिंग क्लोथ्स, फॉर बेथिंग एंड वाटर फॉर द कैटल, राइट? सो ऑल दीज नीड्स कैन बी मेट इफ यू conserve water like this. Okay, so that's what he did. Massive tree planting of lakhs of trees, because the more trees you have, you would be able to attract more water. So that is one of the things that you can continuously do. With the collaboration of and recharge of groundwater, ताकि rain water harvesting नीचे जाएगा, जमीन के नीचे पानी ज्यादा रहेगा, the groundwater level will increase. That will help the overall prosperity of the village. With the collaboration of the villagers, Hiware Bazar became a green and prosperous village in a few years. Popat Rao Pawar was awarded the Padma Shri in 2020. Just imagine a sarpanch getting the Padma Shri. कितना बड़ा honor है ये, because he did quality work and positive work for his village. That's what is important. तो आप कहीं पर भी हो, अगर आपकी नीयत अच्छी होगी, if your intention is good and if you're capable of putting in hard work, you can achieve wonders. That is what the story of Popat Rao Pawar shows us. Okay, very inspiring stories. Now, ग्राम पंचायत में एक पंचायत सेक्रेटरी होते हैं जो कि सरकार नॉमिनेट करती है. वो पंचायत सीरियल में, वेब सीरीज में भी आप वही देखेंगे कि गांव शहर से एक आदमी आता है, who is played by this guy called जितेंद्र, जो जीतू भैया कोटा फैक्ट्री में थे, सेम एक्टर. ही प्लेज द पंचायत सेक्रेटरी इन दैट वेब सीरीज एंड ही परफॉर्म्स एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव फंक्शंस सच एज कॉलिंग मीटिंग्स, मेंटेनिंग रिकॉर्ड्स. मोस्ट ग्राम पंचायत्स आर आल्सो असिस्टेड बाय एन ऑफिसर कॉल्ड द पटवारी. पटवारी इज समवन जो पूरे लैंड के रिकॉर्ड्स वगैरह रखता है, कि पुराने कितने हैं वगैरह, वो सब रखता है. एंड ही मेंटेन्स द विलेज रिकॉर्ड्स. इन सम केसेस द पटवारी कीप्स मैप्स दैट आर जनरेशंस ओल्ड. कई पुराने मैप्स ही रखता है. Like for instance, in this drawing, you are seeing that map को देख रहे हैं. He is the panchayat secretary, and these are the other members of the panchayat. So how do you think these old maps can be helpful for us? Can they tell us something about the past and the present? तो इसके बारे में जरा देखते हैं. Now, ये एक अच्छा स्टेटिस्टिक है जो कि आपको जानना चाहिए. ये शहरों में ऐसा हो गया है, इतनी भीड़ हो गई है बिकॉज ऑफ माइग्रेशन ऑफ पीपल फ्रॉम द विलेजेस टू द सिटीज. तो ये एक अच्छा स्टेटिस्टिक है जो कि आपको मालूम होना चाहिए फ्रॉम ए जीके पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू, कि द प्रोजेक्शन इज दैट 2036 तक, यानी कि अगले 12 साल में, इंडिया टाउन्स एंड सिटीज विल बी होम टू 600 मिलियन पीपल और 40% ऑफ द पॉपुलेशन, अप फ्रॉम 31% इन 2011. मैंने बोला ना कि 2011 जब पिछला सेंसस हुआ था तब 31% था, अभी माना जाता है कि इट्स अराउंड 34%. ये कहते हैं कि अगले 12 साल में भारत के शहरों में, इन इंडिया सिटीज, यू विल हैव अ पॉपुलेशन व्हिच इज 40% ऑफ द टोटल पॉपुलेशन ऑफ इंडिया. सो द सिटीज विल बिकम मोर क्राउडेड and the city's problems will also increase, which we will talk about in the next chapter, which is a fascinating chapter. Now, ये एक स्टैटिस्टिक आपको याद रखना चाहिए. डिस्ट्रिक्ट्स में यहाँ पे देर आर कपल ऑफ दिस थिंग, बट ये मैंने एक रिलायबल सिविल सर्विसेज के वेबसाइट से निकाला है. कुछ जगहों पे 788 डिस्ट्रिक्ट्स की बात की जाती है, बट ज्यादातर मेरे को 806 डिस्ट्रिक्ट्स की बात सुनाई पड़ी. तो वी कैन से अप्रोक्सीमेटली 800 डिस्ट्रिक्ट्स इन इंडिया. ये जीके के मामले में आपको याद करने को नहीं बोल रहा हूं. आई ऑलवेज फील जीके भी इंप्रूव होना चाहिए. द लार्जेस्ट डिस्ट्रिक्ट इन इंडिया इज कच्छ, विच इज इन गुजरात. द स्मॉलेस्ट डिस्ट्रिक्ट इज माहे, विच इज पार्ट ऑफ पुदुचेरी, केरला के पास पड़ता है, नॉर्थ केरला के पास. ओके, मोस्ट पॉपुलेटेड डिस्ट्रिक्ट, जहां पर सबसे ज्यादा आबादी हो, वो है नॉर्थ 24 परगनास, ये कहां पे है? बंगाल में। एंड लीस्ट पॉपुलेटेड इज दिबांग वैली, ये है अरुणाचल प्रदेश में। तो ये चारों चीजें आप याद रख लो, क्लासरूम में इंप्रेस कर सकते हैं कि आई नो विच इज द लीस्ट पॉपुलेटेड, आई नो विच इज द स्मॉलेस्ट, आई नो विच इज द लार्जेस्ट, आई नो विच इज द मोस्ट पॉपुलेटेड। सो अगर आपको ये जीके में मालूम होगा बेहतर रहेगा। तो थोड़ा थोड़ा एक्स्ट्रा चीजें भी याद कर लो आपकी उम्र में। यू शुड लर्न ऑल दिस, इट विल ऑलवेज बी हेल्पफुल। So this is as far as the districts in India is concerned. Next we come to what? The block or the mandal level. There are over 7,000 of block offices in India, which means more than 7,000 administrative blocks. This is the number of block or the mandal offices. Villages कितने हैं? 2,50,000. That is 2.5 lakh gram panchayats present in India. So these figures थोड़े याद रख लो when you are writing an answer about gram panchayat. If you include this statistic also, it will make your answer look better than that of your classmates. है ना? That's what you want also. So this is interesting statistic data which you will find useful. Okay. Now वो क्वेश्चन पूछा गया था कि old maps को किस लिए यूज किया जाता है? Okay. The old maps are useful because they help resolve any disputes that may arise over ownership of land. कि रामलाल बोले ये मेरी जमीन है, श्यामलाल बोले नहीं ये मेरी जमीन है, तो पटवारी बैठेगा, बोलेगा कि मेरे पास पुराने लैंड रिकॉर्ड्स हैं, जब तुम्हारे दादा ने ये जमीन खरीदी थी तब मैं देखता हूं कि किसने ये जमीन खरीदी थी। ही फाइंड्स दैट रामलाल के दादा ने ये जमीन खरीदी थी, तो श्यामलाल जबरदस्ती घुस रहा है वहां पर कहने के लिए कि ये जमीन मेरी है। सो ही विल से श्यामलाल यू आर लाइंग, यू आर मिस्टेकन, द लैंड बिलोंग्स टू रामलाल। सो द लैंड रिकॉर्ड्स हेल्प resolve any disputes that may arise over ownership of land. They also help trace the history of a particular village, कि इस गांव का इतिहास क्या था, कौन यहां पहले आया था, कहां से ये शुरुआत हुई थी, किसने जमीन पहले खरीदी। All those things about the history of the village also it can help establish. And finally it can study alteration in forest cover. This is very important. कि 50 years ago जब ये गांव बसा था तब यहां पर ऑलमोस्ट 45% फॉरेस्ट कवर था, ये पूरा जंगल था। अब देखो सिर्फ 10% है, बिकॉज हम लोगों ने ये जंगल के पेड़ काट कर हम वहां पर अपनी खेती बाड़ी कर रहे हैं, राइट? सो द फॉरेस्ट कवर हैज श्रंक फ्रॉम 45% to 10%. सो ओवर ए पीरियड ऑफ टाइम यू नो इट बिकॉज यू विल हैव लैंड रिकॉर्ड्स. सिमिलरली यहां पर एक लेक होता था, यहां पर एक पॉन्ड होता था, अभी देखो पूरा सूख गया है और यहां पर लोग खेती बाड़ी कर रहे हैं. सो द वाटर बॉडीज पहले दे वर अबाउट 30%, now they are down to just 5%. So you are able to know because you are able to compare it with old land records. So अगर आपसे ये क्वेश्चन एग्जाम में पूछा जाए, so you should write these 3 points, थोड़ा expand करके, but basically these 3 points with these keywords जरूर यूज कर लें. इसका स्क्रीनशॉट ले लो ताकि आप अपने नोटबुक में इसको लिख लो. ओके ओके, ये अभी आते हैं इसके. नाउ let's now move to child friendly panchayat system. Now this is very interesting. Panchayats are supposed to listen to everyone, लेकिन होता क्या है, मैं एडल्ट नहीं हूं, मेरी उम्र 18 साल की नहीं हुई है, आई एम नॉट येट 18, तो मैं तो वोट नहीं कर सकता. So how will my voice be heard? So what many panchayats are doing is to form a bal panchayat. Now bal panchayat is not strictly, where it's not like allowing people under 18 to vote. But what they do is that the child-friendly panchayat initiative matlab the move like that, creates opportunities for children to express their ideas. So इससे फायदा क्या होगा? Just like in your school, you have the house, you have a house captain, then you discuss that, okay, our house will do this on the school annual day. So you are involved in what? You are involved in the decision-making process. Understood? Decision-making process. So that is what is the entire idea, that they express their ideas and opinions on matters that concern their well-being. यानी कि बच्चों के भले के लिए जो भी करना होगा उसमें उनकी ओपिनियन पूछी जाएगी, that they will be able to express their opinion about what concerns their well-being. So steps are being taken in several states to encourage the participation of children in Bal Sabhas and Bal Panchayats on a regular basis, while village elders try to find solutions to their concern. That the children say that, नया क्लासरूम तो बना दिया, लेकिन उसमें बिल्कुल भी लाइट नहीं आती है, बिकॉज इस तरफ बड़ा सा पेड़ है, तो यहां पर बिल्कुल लाइट नहीं आती है, और हमारे रूम में ट्यूबलाइट नहीं है, तो वी हैव टू स्टडी इन अ वेरी डार्क क्लासरूम. व्हाट इज द सॉल्यूशन? सो the Bal Panchayat discusses this. So what can be the solution? So they think of some solutions and they forward it to the main panchayat. Now the main panchayat also sits and discusses and say, okay, let's do one thing. Let's paint the walls bright white so that there will be natural reflection. Let's also trim some of the branches so that some amount of light comes. उससे भी कुछ फायदा नहीं हुआ, तो हम एक काम करते हैं कि एक तरफ पे, इस तरफ की जो दीवार है वहां पर हम थोड़ा तोड़ के वहां पे 2 खिड़कियां बना देते हैं, ताकि नेचुरल लाइट कम्स फ्रॉम दैट साइड, राइट? सो इफ यू डू दोस काइंड ऑफ, सो इफ यू डिस्कस, you'll get different ideas and you'll be able to solve the problem together. Okay, together is the key point. In Maharashtra, for example, a few Bal Panchayats have worked to eliminate child labor and child marriage. Now, इससे भी बड़े मुद्दों को सॉल्व किया जा सकता है. Okay, ऐसा हो सकता है कि आप ये करें कि, और एक गांव में होता है, मेरे क्लास में एक लड़की है, लेट्स से कोई नाम लगा देते हैं, रुक्मणी. रुक्मणी पिछले 7th क्लास तक पढ़ रही थी, 8th क्लास में नहीं आई, क्योंकि इवन दो शी इज माइनर, हर पेरेंट्स आर गेटिंग हर मैरिड, चाइल्ड मैरिज विच इज इलीगल इन इंडिया. ओके, उसके बावजूद चाइल्ड मैरिज होते हैं. ओके, सो द बाल पंचायत सेज दैट हम इसको रोकेंगे. सो दे गो टू रुक्मणी's हाउस and tell the parents that, uncle, you should not get Rukmani married. She should continue to come to school, because you see all her other classmates are coming to school, and Rukmani also doesn't want to get married. She also says ki, Papa, I want to go to school. So you put pressure on that person to say that no, you should not get your daughter married so early when she is a minor, which is illegal. और तब भी नहीं मानता है, तो बाल पंचायत can go and complain to the police that this person is doing something illegal. He is getting his minor daughter married. So you see, if you involve everybody, you can do these kind of things. So you can do child marriage ke against, you can do child labor, that, oh, he's not sending, instead he's sending his son to work in the town in a mechanic shop, which is not fair. Child labor is banned in India. You cannot employ children to do any kind of labor, be it in industry, be it in agriculture. Like for instance, I have done stories about how children, girls would be made to pluck cotton from the cotton fields, right? Which is again, so they would not go to school. Instead, they would be sent to things. So many of them, I have done stories where they would be carrying their school bags ko side mein rakh ke, they would be plucking cotton from the cotton field, right? Many families do that because they need that extra income. So the Bal Panchayats have brought many children back to school. The Bal Panchayat members get together to convince parents and other adults to send their wards back to school and not to arrange marriages for children, for girls who should be studying. Okay. So the Panchayat has built compound walls for schools to make them safer for children. Now that could have been one of the demands made by the children, the Bal Panchayat, to ensure that schools get hygienically midday meal scheme. पहले तमिलनाडु में शुरू हुआ था और अब तो पूरे देश में है, यानी कि आप खाना बच्चों को हाइजीनिक एंड न्यूट्रिशियस खाना मिड डे मील स्कीम के अंडर आप वहां के बच्चों को देते हैं. सो दैट ऑल्सो बिकम्स एन इंसेंटिव फॉर पेरेंट्स टू सेंड देयर चिल्ड्रन टू स्कूल. पेरेंट्स फ्रॉम पुअर फैमिलीज जो कि 3 टाइम का खाना नहीं दे सकते हैं, दे थिंक दैट ओके, एटलीस्ट 1 टाइम का गुड, अच्छा खाना, न्यूट्रिशियस खाना, हाइजीनिक खाना बच्चों को वहां गवर्नमेंट स्कूल में मिल जाएगा, और उसी बहाने वो पढ़ भी लेते हैं, राइट? The Gram Panchayat has constructed kitchens in the schools. It is for these efforts that Sangu Radu Khandu has been declared a child-friendly Gram Panchayat. Okay, this is in Sikkim. Let's look at another example. Okay, यहाँ पे in West Sikkim. Okay, now let's also. I hope I have not missed out anything. Yeah. Okay. Let's look at another example from Rajasthan. The Children's Parliament. ये यानी कि बच्चों की संसद. It is an offshoot of Banker Roy. Now, Banker Roy was a renowned person who started this Barefoot College initiative a few decades ago. Now, before we get to that, थोड़ा सा रिवाइज कर लेते हैं. सो व्हाट कैन बाल पंचायत डू? कैंपेन अगेंस्ट चाइल्ड लेबर. अगर आपसे क्वेश्चन पूछा जाए और ये क्वेश्चन पूछने के चांसेस बहुत ज्यादा हैं, तो इस पर प्लीज ध्यान दीजिए. इट कैन कैंपेन अगेंस्ट चाइल्ड लेबर एंड चाइल्ड मैरिज. इट कैन वर्क टू ब्रिंग चिल्ड्रन बैक टू स्कूल. मैंने पॉइंट्स लिखे हैं, आपको एक्सपैंड करना पड़ेगा पूरे सेंटेंसेस में. ओके. बाल पंचायत मेंबर्स कैन कन्विंस पेरेंट्स टू सेंड देयर वार्ड्स टू स्कूल. वार्ड्स मतलब चिल्ड्रन. एंड नॉट टू मैरी ऑफ माइनर डॉटर्स, जो भी मैंने आपको एग्जाम्पल के साथ बताया. ओके. ही इज बंकर रॉय. ओके, दिस पर्सन इज बंकर रॉय हु स्टार्टेड दिस थिंग ऑफ बेयरफुट कॉलेज इनिशिएटिव. नाउ उसमें क्या किया, राजस्थान के जो ग्रामीण इलाके थे, राजस्थान के जो रूरल एरियाज थे, थ्रू एजुकेशन एंड डेमोक्रेटिक पार्टिसिपेशन, he kind of made the children more powerful, that they have their rights. So children between age 8 and 14 were engaged in government processes, learning about democracy, so that it doesn't, that's why you would learn about civics. हमारे schools में problem क्या है, history civics को सोचते हैं कि ये ज्यादा important नहीं है, सिर्फ science पढ़ो. No, I teach both science and social science. इसीलिए इसको social science कहते हैं, because you children should be engaged in the process and thinking process कि इंडिया में आखिरकार क्या सही हो रहा है, क्या गलत हो रहा है. यू शुड बी अवेयर ऑफ दैट एंड हैव एन ओपिनियन. ये नहीं कि व्हाट्सएप पे जो मिले उसी को चेप दो. नो. या व्हाट पेरेंट्स टेल यू, व्हाटएवर दे से इज राइट. नो, समटाइम्स पेरेंट्स कैन बी कंप्लीटली रॉन्ग व्हेन इट कम्स टू देयर पॉलिटिकल थिंकिंग. सो यू नीड टू थिंक, read a lot, read different kinds of things so that you are more aware of what's happening in the country. So learning about democracy, social responsibility through night schools, एडल्ट एजुकेशन. रात को जो बड़े बुजुर्ग हैं जिन्होंने अपने बचपन में पढ़ाई नहीं की, उनको उनकी पढ़ाई का जिम्मा लिया जाए थ्रू नाइट एजुकेशन इन एडल्ट स्कूल्स. पार्लियामेंट लाइक इलेक्शंस, दैट बाल पंचायत के मेंबर्स को भी इलेक्ट किया जाए. दैट 3 members are there standing for election, so all the children of the village vote in order to elect their Bal Panchayat members. Now, it is not the same as Panchayat, but in order to make the children feel that they are also part of the decision-making process. The parliament followed formal procedures, so that's what Bankar Roy did to empower the children. कि बच्चों को भी लगे कि हम भी कुछ कर सकते हैं अपने इलाके के लिए, अपने गांव के लिए. For our village and our locality, we can also do something positive. So it made them feel more responsible, socially responsible citizens, young citizens. So the parliament followed formal procedures including voter ID card. सबके पास ID card दिया गया. Campaigning, that people could campaign कि मेरे लिए वोट करो, अगर मेरे लिए वोट करोगे तो मैं ये काम करूंगा या करूंगी. Okay. Elected representatives formed a cabinet. That is, you form a cabinet that you will be in charge of class 1, you will be in charge of the water conservation in the village, you would be in charge of cleanliness around the school. So different people taking on different kind of roles and responsibilities. Overseeing school management and advocating for community needs, that is, everybody should be involved. The initiative fostered leadership skills and social awareness, that they learn to become leaders, enabling children to challenge societal norms. That you decide that child labor we cannot allow in our village. Ours should be a child labor free village. We cannot allow child marriage. Ours should be a child marriage free village, right? So you make a point like that and advocate for change. Children actively address issues such as access to education, sanitation. So this is a Bal Panchayat where a child is standing while there are other children, both boys and girls, sitting and listening and discussing with the student. So social equality contributing to community development. The Children's Parliament Initiative received many accolades, including the World Children Honorary Award in 2001. This is important. So Children's Parliament, यानी कि बच्चों की संसद, is an extremely important concept which was initiated by who? Bankar Roy, whose photograph I showed you here. Okay, so now, so this is something which you can do. Now finally we come to Panchayat Samiti and Zilla Parishad. Quickly let's go through that. Panchayat Samiti to is at the Mandal block level, या the Mandal Parishad, and the Zilla Parishad is at the district level. Zilla मतलब हिंदी में it is the word for district. District को for students from South India, district is called Zilla in Hindi. That's why the word Zilla Parishad. So we have already seen the diagram. So the Panchayat Samiti at the block level is the link between, जो बीच का है, the middle berth is the link between the upper berth and the lower berth, between the village and the Zilla Parishad, the Mandal Parishad in between, which is also called Panchayat Samiti. Okay. The members of these institutions are elected by the local people, but because in some villages you will have Panchayat elections, Mandal, so you will have to put 3 votes for the Panchayat election, for the Mandal Parishad election and for the Zilla Parishad election. कि तीनों के लिए आप अलग अलग वोट डालेंगे ताकि आपके वोटों के ऊपर निर्भर करेगा. In some cases it will be the Mandal Parishad members who will elect the Zilla Parishad members. It can vary from state to state. So the local members of the legislative assembly, उसके ऊपर होता है MLA, उसके ऊपर होता है MP. So MP, I hope you have understood the pyramid. MP at the top, MLA, Zilla Parishad, Mandal Parishad, सरपंच, पंचायत. पंचायत, मंडल परिषद या पंचायत समिति, जिला परिषद at the district level, MLA, then MP. This is the entire pyramid structure. Okay. So the composition of the panchayat samitis differ from state to state, as I said, but their role in strengthening the participation of local people remains the same. That the role is the same, but number जिस तरह से elect होते हैं वो सब अलग-अलग होता रहता है. They coordinate matters because this is decided by the state government. It is not decided by one central government. So हर state government अपने मुताबिक you have different kind of system. So Maharashtra का system will be different from Tamil Nadu system, will be different from Bihar का system. So this facilitates a allotment of funds for such development projects. So they decide, okay, इस पंचायत को हम watershed program के लिए इतने पैसे इस साल देंगे. इस पंचायत की जरूरत है रोड की, तो हम रोड के लिए पैसा देंगे. तो हर गांव की जरूरतें अलग अलग हो सकती हैं, उसके बेसिस पर पैसा दिया जाएगा. हर जिले को अलग अलग जरूरतें होंगी. Oh, this particular village is always affected by floods, so let's do some flood management program which is along the coast. But ये particular village को सूखे की प्रॉब्लम है, तो इसके लिए drought alleviation programs should be initiated. So it depends. So that is done by the state government in deciding, okay, this needs funds for drought, this needs funds for flood relief. This facilitates the allotment of funds for such development projects and for government schemes such as Pradhan Mantri Gram Sadak Yojana, that is the road building in the villages area. Gram means village, Sadak means road. For people in South India who don't understand Hindi, I'm translating it. Pradhan Mantri Prime Minister Village Road Program, okay, which promotes the construction of all-weather roads in rural areas. All-weather means a road which kind of is good, in good condition irrespective of the weather, even in the rainy season. At all the 3 levels, special rules have been made so that disadvantaged sections of population can make their needs and problems heard. These institutions also have a provision for reserving 1/3 of the seats for women. Okay, so every voice will get heard. Okay, so why do you think disadvantaged? So that people who are disabled, their needs to be seen. People who are elderly, they need pensions, social welfare pensions. Somebody is there, he doesn't have any children, or his children have left him. He doesn't have any way of earning a livelihood. He's 75 years old. How do you do it? You give something what is called an elderly person pension by the government, so that you take care of that particular person's needs. So they are the disadvantaged sections of society. Or somebody who is physically handicapped, he cannot go and work. So you give a pension so that you take care of him under the social welfare program. So that's why it's important to take care of all sections of society. ऐसा नहीं कि हमारी सरकार सिर्फ अमीरों के लिए है. No, गरीबों के लिए and people who are not in a position to take care of themselves. It is the government's responsibility to take care of all those people. Okay, so these questions we will do separately, and let's remember the structure of this thing. Now it's important that पहले अर्थशास्त्र जो बना था, लिखा गया था by Kautilya, who was also known as Chanakya, some 2,300 years ago. Now, among the many things he said, it describes how a state should be structured and run, how the economy can be made prosperous. So, what Chanakya said was that he explains how an entire administrative structure should be put in place from the village to the regional capital. यानी कि एक गांव से लेकर मुंबई तक, एक गांव से लेकर चेन्नई तक, you know, from the smallest village in Tamil Nadu to the state capital in Chennai, there should be an administrative structure which should be put in place. So what he did was, he said the king shall establish what is called a sangrahana, a sub district headquarters for every 10 villages, a करवातिका डिस्ट्रिक्ट हेडक्वार्टर्स, ये हो गया जिला परिषद, ये हो गया मंडल परिषद, एंड ए द्रोणामुखा फॉर एवरी 400 विलेजेस एंड ए स्थानीय प्रोविंशियल हेडक्वार्टर्स फॉर एवरी 800 विलेजेस. सो 800 हो गया स्टेट कैपिटल, ये हो गया जिला परिषद द्रोणामुखा, ये हो गया मंडल परिषद, और ये संग्रहना हो गया एट द पंचायत लेवल. हालांकि एक विलेज का होता है, बट समटाइम्स कैन बी ए ग्रुप ऑफ स्मॉल विलेजेस. समटाइम्स एक विलेज में सिर्फ 30 लोग रहते हो, तो इट्स नॉट फिजिबल. So you bring together some villages so that the population is at least 400, 500 people, so that it becomes a bigger panchayat. So that can be also the case. So this is Panchayat Karvatika. This can be asked to you in the MCQ format. This will be the equivalent of the Mandal Parishad or the Panchayat Samiti. This will be of the Zilla Parishad, and this is the state capital. In today's village, that's what this thing. So now these are the summary notes of this particular चैप्टर. आई होप आपको पूरी तरह से समझ में आ गया. द 3 टायर सिस्टम, द बाल पंचायत एंड द मंडल परिषद और द पंचायत समिति और द जिला परिषद level also. So with this we have come to the end of this very important chapter about local government in the rural area. So please share the videos with your classmates, because sharing is ultimately caring. You do good, they will also share something with you which will help you in return. And also don't forget to subscribe. I find it very surprising that very few class 6 students are subscribing, even though so many of you are using the content. So the videos are seeing the views, but the subscriptions are not increasing. It's free of cost. There is no money to be charged for anything, for you to press the subscribe button and press the bell icon so that you get the notification whenever a new video is published. And iske baad I will be doing all the questions and answers in separate videos so that your everything is thrashed out. Aap exam ke liye completely you are 100% ready. Okay, so tata, bye bye, thank you very much. I'll now see you in the next video, which will be on local government in the urban areas. Okay, bye.